All right, guys. Good evening, good morning, wherever you're from across the world. My name is Al-Amin Sharfuddin. We're going to get started with the webinar for today, the 7 mistakes to avoid in a social media marketing career. Before we get started, I just want to, there is this question window that you could see there. If one of you could just volunteer saying that you can hear me well, then we can go straight into the webinar. Perfect. I got the confirmation from Shubhra. So I'll take that as a yes, and we can jump straight in. First of all, thank you very much. Thank you all for being part of the webinar today. I just promise you that by the end of the session today, that you guys would realize, possibly connect with some of the things that you do back at work and say that, oh, maybe I've been doing this wrong all this while, and possibly make some changes to get closer towards being a social media marketing expert, right? All right, so just a little bit about me. My name is Al-Amin Sharfuddin. I've been in the marketing field for the last 10 years and in the digital marketing field for the last 5 years. I've seen across the ecosystem in terms of publishers, in terms of products, in terms of analytics. I've helped various startups in entertainment, in business, in FMCG. All of them reach the audience that they require, get paying customers overnight, figure out what their social media marketing plan or an action plan should be, their strategy, and eventually put them on self-starter mode so that they exactly know what to be doing consciously and successfully. So now I almost live and breathe social media, because in some sense it is the perfect equation balance of advertisers and publishers. So I'm very excited to kind of be here talking to you guys about what possible challenges or mistakes that we do while having a career in the social media marketing. So I am assuming that all of you guys who are on the call basically have some prior knowledge or have some kind of a job already in social media. But if not to worry, at least you would learn as to what you could be getting into if at all you land up a job in social media in the future. Right? Quick housekeeping announcements. So there is this questions window. All of you know it by now. Please go ahead and jot in your questions at any point in time during the webinar. As and when I feel the timing is right, I could answer it then and there, or if not, I shall keep it for the end of the session. Okay, so I guess we could get started in a bit. Perfect. Okay. So first, what is the objective of today's webinar, right? I'm sure something caught your interest from the topic. So as I said, my assumption was you're already working as part of a social media job, or you're planning to get into one. So for both cases, there are certain things that you need to know, that you should guard against, or you should avoid falling into. But why? Because you have to stay safe as part of this job, because there's someone who's already ready to take a seat for waiting for you to make that first mistake, right? Second major bit is you get to rectify early. If you know these are the mistakes that you would possibly end up doing as part of a career, you have a chance now to possibly rectify pretty early so that you don't actually end up going all through the mistake. Driving inorganic growth, which is something social media as a channel promises, but people fail to see it as an inorganic growth channel. They think that there is only a series of steps to do so. Assuring that you avoid the mistakes, you would definitely see inorganic growth. Then why reinvent the wheel? Why wait for you to make the mistakes when And of course, to keep the money coming in terms of ROI, in terms of money spent, and what is the return you get without any glitches, in a very assured way, without any problems at all. Of course, I mean, you will get promoted for the work that you do. People would love you because you hardly fail in this space, and people are just going to keep you growing and growing, because that's the power of the channel, right? So without any further delay, first thing, you know, I want some participation here. How many of you think social media is fully about science? I mean, there is this one group of people, and there is this other group of people who think that social media is fully about art. Now, just I just want a quick split. You know, if I say social media marketing is 100%, if you can split it as, let's say, in percentage, like let's say, you know what, 30-70, 30 science, 70 art, or 60 science, 40 art. I would like to see what you guys think, like in terms of a split. Let's just keep it coming, yeah. Shubhra says 30 to science and 70 to art. Maybe she picked up on he I'm guessing he, she, sorry, I don't know. But picked up on a 30-70 split of 30 to science and 70 to art. I would like to see possibly another person getting it in terms of a split, just to get like a different view, if at all you have a different view in terms of the split of science and art. Or if I don't, okay, 50-50 says Edureka. Okay. See, the beauty of knowing the split of how you see social media marketing in terms of science or art exactly tells you what kind of person you are, right? If you are more the creative person who believes that any kind of marketing is about the kind of creativity you show in each of this, it doesn't need to be social media, it doesn't need to be digital. In any field of marketing, if you feel it's all about art, then you're possibly one of those creative guys who wants to take all the credit for creative hand. If you do the creative right, everything is just going to work, right? But if you go more biased towards science, then you would kind of say that, you know what, I don't care what the creative is. End of the day, if I ensure that if I follow the process, if I understand the science behind the whole thing, I'll be able to crack it. Well, here's the bad news, right? The bad news is, for anyone who's biased towards any one of this, you are setting yourself up for failure. So, I mean, Edureka would choose, it's a perfect split, right? I mean, he's chosen like a split of 50-50, 50 to science and 50 to art. In theory, this is nice. In practical, I have not seen anyone yet who has mastered this. So, a good start to your entire career in social media marketing, if you already have one or you plan to get into one, is to stop, evaluate what you feel about this. How do you split between science and art? If you are going biased towards any particular one type, you exactly know that something is going to go wrong at some point in time. That's all I want to leave as a thought here. Here is the first awesome mistake that every one of us love to be, right? We're like, we all are S-men. We all want to be saying yes to everything that comes our way. I mean, it's an Indian psychology thing, or it's a general acceptance methodology bit, where people say that, hey, you know what? Oh, you want me to do this? Sure, I will do it. You want me to execute this? Sure, I will do this. I mean, a typical person who has this mindset, which is like, take it as it comes, has what? Well, it's like, if you hear the word strategy, you'll be like, what is this word strategy? I mean, I don't even know what this strategy is. If you hear the word goals, like, you know, what are your social media marketing goals? You'll be like, what is that even, how does that even matter? You're like, you don't believe in something called the roadmap. You are happy executing instructions. you love running campaigns, you meet deadlines. That is the perfect character of who you are. So, if you are one of these persons, I mean, if you fall into this character, then you better stop and think that if you are doing this, you will continue doing this for a long time. You will not grow up the ladder. People will just be happy that, hey, we give this person this set of things to do, this person will do it, bang, we are done. A good way to address this is possibly slow. I know it is difficult. I mean, for people who just have executed instructions, run campaigns and meet deadlines, it's difficult or even doesn't make sense for them to think of words like strategy, goals and roadmap. A good start is to start looking at what is the overall strategy for this engagement. What are the goals this advertiser has as part of, and goals doesn't mean getting a campaign done by end of the day. What is the entire roadmap? When I say roadmap in a quick way, it is about, in the extent of time, what are they eventually wanting to get into? So stop being yes man and stop being a mere executor. Do not take it as it comes. Start seeing the big picture of what is the strategy, what are the goals involved, and what is the roadmap of this account. Well, if you thought what I explained to you in the previous slide was something very usual, the second mistake that people, I mean, almost every person I know who's come into social media marketing has made this mistake, which is equating presence to awesomeness, right? People get excited just creating a social media presence. Oh, there's a new channel. Oh, there's Vimeo. You know what? Let me go create an account on Vimeo for my advertiser. Call up the advertiser. Hey, you know what? I just got an account created for your Vimeo. Because you feel it's just sheer awesomeness to just create a presence. Because here is what you're going through. You feel that you capture as many channels as you can. It's like a pirate mentality, right? I'm like, I will take any channel out there. Because end of the day, the number of brands I represent as presence or number of social media channels my brand is represented on is all that matters. You will ensure that the contact details are correct, all the regular information, you know what, this company does this. I will upload the logo, here's the cover page, and you will just wait for others or the audience to just come in, right? Please avoid, if at all anything else, if I were to request you guys, any one of you connecting with this, if you think if just creating a presence is about social media awesomeness, get out of that mindset. Today we live in a very golden era, which is very few players are out there who understand the space. And soon you will realize that people who just equate presence to awesomeness will just become void. They will not exist because that's all they will get to know at the end of their social media marketing experience. I've seen people walk up to me and say that, yes, I know social media marketing. And when I ask them, okay, what is it they've done? They're like, I've created a Facebook page, I've created a Vimeo page, I've created a LinkedIn page, I've updated all the information, I've ensured that all the details are correct, and that's it. The brand is extremely happy. Do not. If you're doing this as of today, get out of it. It's not about presence alone. Well, the third one, right? I don't know if Uncle Scrooge, many of you remember, or do you guys even know that this character exists? Uncle Scrooge is this, from the yesteryears of cartoons, who basically owns a lot of money, right? Here is a third classical mistake that people in social media marketing make. most of these guys, because they are the cool guys, the social media marketing guys are the cool guys, people want to spend a lot of money on social media marketing, especially advertisers. Now, it's fine. Advertisers want to spend money. We survive. We live because of these advertisers. But the problem is, we are not trained enough to figure out how and where to spend it. So, many times what we do is, we know like one or two tips or tricks or one or two ways of spending money, and that's it. Now, if I find tomorrow something new comes up, I'll go spend. Because here is the one basic thing that is in my mind all through. I am continuing to think again and again that the more I spend, I get more audience. I mean, it's a consumeristic world out there, right? I am able to order anything online. I am able to pay for anything online. Why can't I buy my audience? Of course, you can buy your audience, which means I spend more, I get more audience. Okay. So here is a second fallacy that follows it, right? Oh, so more audience means I get more customers. Really? Good luck with that. Because all you become is a spend agent on campaigns. You'll be like, yeah, let me run campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, campaign 4. I'm like, wow, I ended up spending 10% of the client's budget in the first day of the month. Now, that is an improvement. Now, I can go back to my client and advertiser, say that, hey, I was able to spend so much. The capacity is so much more. There is an opportunity to spend more. Therefore, I get to earn more. Guess what? The client is going to leave you. Your advertiser, your brand, the advertiser or the brand or the client are going to leave you if you go into making this mistake on a continuous basis. But obviously you are the cool person, right? Here is what you would do. You would keep looking for new channels. You would keep looking for new opportunities, new types of ads, new ad formats. Many times people who are biased a lot towards creativity, where they think that a majority of my thing is art, end up doing this. Because for them, they come up with the best creative there, and I need to figure out where all I can spend money. I am going to get inorganic growth because my mindset is very simple. I spend a lot more, I get more audience, and more audience means more customers. I am like super set. Good luck with that. It's not going to work. It definitely is not going to work. So next time you are caught taking extra budgets without figuring out the entire strategy behind why, what, how we spend on certain campaigns or on certain channels, please stop. Money will come. Budgets will come as long as there is both science and art to it. If you go only with science or only with art, it's going to fail you. I mean, I don't know how many of you attended my last webinar, which was a framework for you guys to figure out an effective social media marketing, which was the OABC PPP framework. You guys can actually check that framework out on SlideShare. Edureka has put it up. It should get you started at least to think as to where should I start spending, why should I start spending, how should I start spending. It's a very simple, easy to remember framework that ensures that even if nothing else is understood, you still know that you're safe against, random spends or random thoughts when coming up with respect to social media marketing. So I repeat that for you. It's OABC PPP framework for social media marketing. All right. So as I said, as we are speaking, if there are any questions, please feel free to just knock it down in the questions window. I'll be happy to take it as it comes. Otherwise, I'll just wait till the end of the class. Cool. The oldest form of communication was the radio, right? And The problem is they called it the oldest form of communication. Now, here's the problem I have when you call it the oldest form of communication. You immediately assume that radio is one form of communication, right? What is the problem with radio? Radio is just one way. You're not going to hear back from your audience at any given point in time, right? So all you end up doing is you think that becoming the radio is communicating, right? So if you catch yourself doing one of the following things, let's go through that, right? Brand content generation is a specialty, which means, see, think about this, equate this to the radio. What do you love about the radio? When you're stuck in a traffic jam, when you're stressed, when you have nothing else to do, you are just listening to the radio, right? You're not talking back, you're just listening, right? So the power behind the radio is the content. There is a lot of content that comes in the radio, which you love. Great, okay. Sometimes you don't like it, you keep changing, fine. But that can't happen for an advertiser or a brand, right? The idea is to keep your audience, the brand or the advertiser's audience, continuously engaged. Now, as you see, if you become the radio, your specialty is brand content generation. You are the best for creating the content. You meet all these deadlines. These guys said, you know what? The advertiser or the brand will come and say, hey, I need this content to be said. I want this content to be done. I want all of this to be ready. But then what do? You take this brand, you take this content, and then you meet these deadlines and make the advertiser or the client happy. Remember, we are not talking of the social channels yet. We are just saying that how you are the best content creator out there, how you go meet these brand content delivery deadlines, all clear, and then you are employed just on the basis of, hey, how much content and quality content that you've been generating for a while. Because deep down, you think that your content is what is driving all the results. Why? Because your perception of results is based upon your own thought of how your content will be perceived, how your own content will be consumed. You think that, okay, if you stop, everything will fail. That's why you will not stop. You'll continue producing this content and keep going back to the audience. If at all, even you're doing this as 10% of your job, where you're just becoming a mere radio, just stop. Look back in your daily list of activities. Do not look for an exact match, right? All I'm trying to ask you is this question, that if at any given point in time, if your job predominantly revolves, or your task predominantly revolves about pure content creation, becoming the radio and reaching an audience in a one-way format, you are setting yourself for failure, my friend. Stop. Realize again and again, it boils down to the same two bits. How am I splitting between an art and science? So, one takeaway from the slide is, do not become the radio, do not become one-way communicators, do not become content generation specialists. It is good to be content generation specialists, but do not make that as part of your mainstream job. It is always going to go hand in hand with respect to what is the overarching strategy roadmap. And then, if you're able to bring in your content expertise on top of it, mush it up with some good metrics, figure out the engagement metrics, figure out how you're going to handle this audience based on different parameters that you lay out for the engagement strategy itself, you are set. Okay. Okay, now that we just spoke about becoming the radio, here is taking it to the next level, right? The next level is absolute content diarrhea. Show of hands, is the audio coming in? Can one of you confirm that you can hear me? I would request one of you guys to confirm that you can hear me, please. Perfect. Thank you for that. I'll just jump right back into it. So, we just spoke about becoming the radio in terms of one-way communicators, becoming content specialists. But then here is the other thing. You take this to the next level, you end up in a state what I call as content diarrhea. When I say content diarrhea, of course, I mean, let me not get into the process of what content diarrhea is, but here is the deal. Any channel you take, you want to own every piece of real estate. What does that mean? Has anyone heard, I mean, I'm sure people would have heard of this term called share of voice. There is a reason there is a term called share of voice, right? Share of voice in a very generic term is if there, for example, two big brands are selling shoes. Like let's say Adidas is selling shoes, Nike is selling shoes. Then if you take all the conversations surrounding shoes, we measure how many people mention Nike and how many people mention Adidas and what is the percentage split. That is what share of voice means, right? So why share of voice is good? Because it helps an audience compare brands against a common point. But the problem is, since we have become so competitive, we want to dominate the share of voice. So what do? The only way we can dominate share of voice is to pump all channels with so much content to your relevant audience that they do not get a chance to see anything from your competitors. All they get to see is stuff that you pump in. And here is to sweeten the deal. You give them like a bunch of hashtags each, because for you, a hashtag differentiates one content from the other. You use, you repeat, you reuse, you as I said, you become a content expert. It's fantastic, but then it is all about dominance of share of voice and ensuring that the relevant audience see only you and nobody else. If at all you have that mindset, or even if you're remotely thinking of something like this, beware, attention, optum, stop right now. Ensure that there is a healthy share of voice. Ensure that share of voice increases because of engagements, not because of increased content. There is a term called optimum content ratio. And it is very important that you do not beat the ratio to the max. Because it is like a curving, it's like a curveball, it will come back and strike you the same way you want to strike this share of voice. So just to go through this, you own every piece of real estate. You do not try to give an audience to see any other content. Classic mindset to dominate. Loading up with a whole bunch of hashtags as if each one is like a separate source of content. Repeating, reusing is good, but people end up doing it because sometimes they run out of content, I guess, and they just jump back to their old bag of tricks and bring them in, like, old wine in new bottle. You compare your metrics based on the output of competitors, but people hardly do this. It's actually healthy practice, but when you do it when there's content diarrhea, it's not going to work for you. And you ensure that the same messages go across all channels. Again, it's a good thing when content delivery is on an optimum scale, but if you're doing it across all channels, which means you're ensuring that you will drive your audience out without a doubt. Okay. Oh wait, I am hearing someone saying audio not connected. Again, sorry, quick confirmation. Are people able to hear me? I would require one more confirmation, please. Perfect. Thank you very much. I got the confirmation from one of the attendees. Perfect. How many of us, I mean, I'm sure all of us love exclusivity, right? What do you mean exclusive? Why do we like carrying these membership cards? Why do we love when someone upgrades? Like, you know, or why, if given a choice, if you don't have to spend money, you will obviously take a business class seat, right? You would not take the economy class. It's the same way, right? We all want some form of exclusivity. Exclusivity drives people. Exclusivity drives engagement. Exclusivity drives action. Exclusivity makes the audience feel more connected. Exclusivity brings you the results, makes them feel at home. You cannot overlook this. So, here is what if you end up doing, missing out on exclusivity. This is what you would end up doing. You would think, for example, maybe you're a digital marketing manager, you have like a set budget, you have to split across like different channels, like I have display, I have paid search, I have paid social, I have video, I have search, I mean email campaigns, I have all these things and I need to split my money, and I think that okay, social media is just another channel. I need to just put some money into social media, bang, I'm done. Because for you, one of the biggest objectives as a digital marketing manager is sustaining omni-channel content. What are this omni-channel content? I mean, don't get like flustered by it. It's very simple. Basically, you think that it's all about getting the same content for every channel you're set. It doesn't matter whether social media, display, email, blah. For me, I've created some content. I need to ensure that the same content goes for each of these channels. So what does that mean? Because you think social media is just another part of your channel set, you do not change anything specific to social media. For social media also, the same content just flows in the same way it's flowing in all other channels. And what do you feel that is the successful thing that you do? For you, success is about consistency. You're like bang, bang, bang. I will be consistent. I will be consistent. I will be consistent. That's it. I mean, you're happy when consistency happens in terms of content across all channels. And if you drill down your job, if you're doing this job, hey, I have this content, I will take different sizes of this creative and I'll put it in each of these channels. If you end up putting up a wrong landing page or some errors in content, you'll get penalized. If at all, this is the kind of job you're already doing, or if you get into a job and if you end up doing stuff like this where your core, what do I call it, your core responsibility is to ensure that all channels get the same content, There will be no changes. The only changes will be refactoring the content to feature in each channel and spending on them. Stay away from it. Trust me, it adds no value. You will not see the problem. Let me do this again. All the stuff that we've been seeing so far, like each one of this slide, is what people are doing today. Each slide is basically what people have as a job. I've seen people as having as a job. Now the problem is, these are the people who will find social media marketing boring. Because that's what they do and that's what they think social media marketing is. So when you say 7 mistakes to avoid in social media marketing career, it means these are not mistakes. These are daily jobs and actions we are being part of today. Until and unless you achieve and attain a bigger purpose of social media marketing, you will find this very boring. You will find this non-engaging, and you'll be like, what is everyone talking about social media marketing? Become a social media marketing expert. I know already what social media marketing is. I do all of this stuff. So the mistake can also be relooked as me thinking that what I do is what social media marketing is about. And a perfect case is this. Exclusivity is a separate, I can talk hours about how to garner exclusivity for social media, right? But that's not the point. The idea is, if you forget to acknowledge that social media channel is, and you have to use the channel to build exclusivity in terms of content, in terms of the way you communicate and engage, you lost the whole thing already in the beginning itself. People, even your manager will be happy that you're doing your list of tasks to fantastic perfection, but you're losing out on the purpose. And the last one, right? Typical behavior of many social media marketers. So this is not specific to a job, but this is what typically agencies do, right? When a brand engages with an agency, and if you're working with an agency or planning to work with an agency, this is what happens. You do not want to respond to everybody out there. Because people are always saying some stuff. You can't just be sitting there responding to everyone, right? That's what you would think. You would just, if someone says something nice, you'll go and say, hey, thank you, hey, what's up, hey, lovely, it was great, very nice to engage with you, awesome. And you feel that, going and giving responses in a hurry is a bad thing for you, right? That's what you feel. Because, hey, anyway, he's taken time to say something. I will not immediately go and respond. Let me take some time and come back. I'll think about it. I'll figure out what to tell him. And then I'll give, if at all, I need to give one. Of course, the good thing is, your responsibility is to engage with the audience. And you may or may not be told that you will respond to the people, just the good ones. And part of your responsibility is just about just closing the loop. Think about it. Many job profiles, specifically under the names of, social media community managers or social media channel community managers, have opened up predominantly because organizations have begun to realize what response time is and how critical having a shorter response time is, how becoming close to real-time engagement with the audience leads to a healthy atmosphere, how you can convert every negative into an opportunity for engagement. This is where all the cool stuff happens. But unfortunately, I've seen, as part of jobs like this, what people do is exactly this. They wait for someone to say something nice. They go paste a templated answer hey, thank you for this. In fact, they even copy paste this. I mean, they have the set templates, they control C, control V. There is no voice, there is no character. I mean, there is an entire set that makes this channel interesting, which is giving your brand a voice on social media, giving your brand a character. It's like creating a whole new human being out of this channel. That's what this channel helps you do. But yet, we decide to choose a way which is task-oriented. Which is like, Control C, Control V, yes, thanks for the good stuff. Someone says bad, you know what? I don't even care, let him say whatever he wants. You wait for the good guys, but guess what? You are the person responsible for engaging with the audience. Classic bias. If you're caught doing that again, think twice. And you as future social media marketing experts will be crucial in telling the advertiser where to increase the spends. Do not make the classic mistake of, I have lots of money, let me go spend it in every place I know and in every place I can. And the results will be detrimental if you are more of an art person than a science person. Any other questions, guys? Well, if you're feeling shy, just shoot anything that comes up to your head. Always happy to discuss it up. Okay, so looks like guys are clear. So just some closing thoughts. The mistakes can be a lot more if I have to break each one of them down. But end of the day, my only closing thought is, do not equate social media marketing to what you're doing as some of these jobs or tasks that is not social media marketing. That is possibly nothing related to social media marketing, because what you've been doing is more like a task as some part of it, and don't assume that that's all you need to know or that is enough to survive in this jungle. Please try to step up, try to learn the entire ecosystem, because that is the way the industry is headed. You will be better placed if you have the entire stretch of what you can do. Talk like an expert. All the money is coming your way. Thank you very much, guys, for being part of the webinar. There will be a link to the webinar sent across later, I'm guessing, like I think a link to the deck. So happy to take any questions that come across later as you come. Thank you very much again, and have a great